All right, welcome to taking your first shot with Ortery Capture. Today I'm going to be covering the basics of our software, including your main controls from left to right. So, quick start off guide here. This will go through a couple different areas, switching between view mode and capture mode. You can simply go through this and read out each of the descriptions of what these buttons do, but today we're going to just jump right in. So the first thing that you're going to do when taking your first image is you're going to see anything from your centerpiece here. If we hit our capture tool here, this brings up our live preview of our camera. So today I'm using a 3D PhotoBench 280. And I want to go over some of the functionality of the capturing process. On our left-hand side, we're going to see a 2D, 360, and 3D mode. Depending on which equipment that you're shooting with, you may not have these different types of options. For shooting a still, you're going to see our still shot section. And I'm going to move from auto mask to normal. Now from here, we have our focusing option. So this will trigger your camera's autofocus method to find a focal point on our product. Below that, we have our crop option. This will allow us to adjust our crop around the product, which can be manipulated using any of these squares around the crop. Below that, we can also introduce rotating of your camera's canvas. So if you're shooting in landscape or portrait, this will simply toggle between your different views of your camera. Below that, we have the snap option, but first I did want to cover some of the functionality on the right-hand side. So on this right-hand side, we've got a focus mode, and this is currently set to autofocus. We've got manual focus here as well as fixed, and with both of these, you're able to bring up another smaller box. If your camera does not support this, feel free to reference our website in regards to how to turn this box on for your specific camera. Now, what this does is down at the bottom of our screen, we have some new buttons. These buttons include zooming in onto the location where this box is located. We can also push and pull our focus points, as well as another autofocus trigger for what this is focusing on. We also have a nice focus peaking method where you can click on this and it will show you exactly what is in focus. Other options on our right-hand side include the manual mode of our camera. You'll want to make sure your camera is set to manual using the top dial on top of your camera. Here you can also switch your aperture, shutter speed, white balance, and ISO. Recommended settings, I would say for someone who doesn't know too much about a camera, is to start at about an aperture from 10 to 16. What this does is allow more depth of field of your product. The larger the number, the more depth of field. So more of the object is going to be in focus, the higher the number. Now you'll notice switching from 7 to 16, our live preview gets darker. And how we can combat that is by switching our shutter speed to a slower shutter speed, allowing more light into our camera. So by switching it to something like 1/10, it brings that light value back into the camera's sensor. Now with the PhotoBench 280, this particular studio has lighting controls. If you're using something like a standalone turntable, it may not have these options. With the 280, I'm able to adjust the lighting according to how much light I want onto our product. Now, if I'm shooting for a pure white background, simply by moving my cursor over the white space, we can see that value of white in our lower right corner. Amazon's requirements for web images would be a standard of 255, 255, 255. By increasing the amount of light in certain areas, you can easily achieve that using the 3D PhotoBench 280. So now, with my numbers very close to the 255 all the way around, we have a nice image. So recapping, we've got all our camera settings on our right hand side, and all our modes of shooting on the left. When you're ready to capture that image, we can simply hit the snap button and it will introduce your actual image. Now with our crop marker, we can specifically set certain values around this crop. So for instance, if my website requires a certain crop ratio, you can click the crop tool in the top left and switch your crop ratio to something of 1:1, 3:2, 4:3, or 16:9. You can even enter in your own values. If I select 1:1, we notice our crop marker moves to an exact square. You can fill the color with either white or transparent space. For crop and fill ratios, this allows you to use your crop marker in freeform, allowing you to adjust your crop marker to be strictly around the product and automatically filling the color with either white, transparent, or any other color in the spectrum. For now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this off and set it to a 1:1 ratio so I have an exact crop line around my product. With Snap, this will then automatically import this image to our computer, allowing me to see our red, green, blue values. From here, getting this object to a pure white is rather simple. On our right-hand side of our viewing portion of our software, we've got some other options from image import, select, delete, save as well as edit. So what we'll do is we're going to go into our editing screen and we're going to use one tool within the software. On the right-hand side under adjustments, our very first tool is called levels. And by changing the levels, we have our histogram here of our input levels and output. By moving this to the lowest value that you find, so for instance, if I'm scrolling underneath our object, I want to find our lowest red, green, blue value, which you can see over here is around 250. So if I move my cursor of the small little triangle underneath our histogram, right below that 250 number, you'll see our whole white spectrum changes to 255. If I need to adjust any of the toning of the particular product, I can simply adjust by moving this to the right or to the left-hand side. You don't want to change it too dramatically, as this is your contrast on the product. Once I'm ready to apply, I can hit the apply and the save tool. With the save and close option, this brings up a profile-based saving sequence for your products. Whether you're saving for web content or print, you can have options to save in several formats at once. For instance, this will be your SKU number. So already highlighted, we could either use a SKU gun or entering in the SKU or the name of the product under the file name. This structure here allows currently to save in 3 different sizes, one being a JPEG at original size at 300 dpi. Below that, we also have a PNG, as well as a JPEG being resized to 750 pixels wide by 750 pixels tall. Now, if you needed to add an additional save type, you can hit Add a new save type. Here you can select the size. So let's say I needed 1500. We can change our DPI from 72 to 150 or 300. As well as applying any batch edits, watermarks, or even upload to our SAS photo software for hosting. Now, if you need anything besides JPEG, we also have PNG, RAW, TIFF, Targa, HTML, and some other different types of output. By hitting OK, we'll see we have our new 4th save type, and these can be all toggled on and off by selecting the small checkbox next to the save type. So right now I'm saving the original size, as well as a resized image of 1500 pixels wide by 1500 pixels tall. So now that I'm all set, I'll hit save, and we're done. Please stay tuned for more videos in regards to getting you up and running for Ortery Capture.